to the Fixing Her Family podcast, a.k.a. the Finer Fam podcast.
We're running it every time still.
It's usually the Fixing Her Fam. But I wanted to get this out real quick. Last episode popped off higher than it's ever been. You might want to adjust that a little bit this way, actually. There you go.
Thanks.
Last episode did really well. We shattered our previous view record,
which was like
by fucking like we like tripled it plus. Probably.
Let's go.
So yeah, our last one was around like 270, and that was like 280. Baby. There you go. That was our first episode, and our recent one's at 609 right now as we speak. So
and still climbing. It's been climbing for the past 2 or 3 days. It's been out, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah, so thank you guys for
shout out to everybody watching the pod
for the support on that one.
Yeah, because it's still going. We're at 609 right now as of what's today? The 8th, and it was uploaded on the 5th.
Dahmer.
Yeah, we talked about Dahmer in that one. We talked about the Speed going to the cherry match and his absolute tirade he went on in the UK. I mean, we also announced that we're like kind of changing into doing more of the stuff that's going on in social media and all that stuff. So getting back into, that realm of stuff, we're already on week 2 of this concept.
Before we get in, you want to give a little intro here?
Yeah. So first of all, we got another guest here. My boy Julian. I've known him for a fair amount of time. He's coming out here joining us. He's also trying to work on his own podcast here soon. So when that is all sorted out, I'll leave a link for that, and wherever it's at, I'll put it down below. But nonetheless, you could do a little intro of what kind of stuff you're going to be talking about on yours, if you're like kind of planning on what you think you're going to do or whatever.
Yeah. So pretty much, man, mine's going to be just pretty much about sports, just daily life that's going on. And, I got some people that, are in the real estate, so I can bring my aunt on, kind of give anybody out there that wants any help in that, looking to, strive in that area. I can bring my aunt on. She can kind of give some tips and stuff. But for the most part, man, I'm just going to be talking about sports, daily life, and just, funny stories with all my friends. Yeah, it's pretty much just going to be like a chill podcast, laying back.
Yeah, for sure. I fucked with that. And like as far as sports, you mean like all sports as a whole? Is there any specific ones you're gonna be focused on mainly, or?
Yeah. So mainly basketball. If you know me, you know I'm a huge basketball
big
guy.
basketball guy over here, man.
Yeah, big basketball guy.
Huge basketball guy.
Very large, big.
Yeah. I'm also probably gonna talk about football. This is my second year really getting into football,
like fantasy and stuff like that.
Yeah. So fantasy. Shout out to Josh and everybody.
J Red.
It was my first fantasy last year, and I won. I beat J Red in the final, so I'm
got
trying
the bragging rights.
Yeah, I'm trying to repeat it this year. But I've been keeping up with football a lot now, just because of fantasy. So we're gonna be talking about pretty much basketball, football, and then just stuff that goes on throughout the day and stuff that goes on throughout sports and stuff.
For sure. Yeah, like we like right now currently we're kind of like transitioning into, just keeping up with what's going on in like the whole social media space, whether it be related to sports or, other social media influencers or whatever's going on, kind of keeping people in the loop of like news that, like, let's say some people are, not really paying attention or whatever, they miss something. We're trying to make it a space where you can go and kind of, find whatever you missed, whether it be something that was sports related, if it's big enough, or, anything social media related, obviously, if it's big enough. Because like we were talking about, right before we started, the most recent thing with sports was the whole Tua situation with the concussions and stuff like that. I remember before that game had happened, I saw a video about it where I think it was a neurologist who had tweeted something about it. It was like, if he plays tonight, there's a high chance that he won't play again if he gets injured. And lo and behold, he goes down the field, takes a head-to-head hit, and
yeah, I mean that he was showing the very bad signs when it comes to a concussion. He was laying flat on his back with his hands like that, and I'm laughing not like this was funny. I'm laughing like how absurd the situation is that he was still playing,
yeah.
And this happened to him, and like
and I get
it's a really scary thing to see.
Yeah, I understand players, that's their livelihood. They want to play, but I mean, at a certain point, you gotta, as a medical staff, you gotta be like, I understand you want to play. I understand you're a competitor, but you cannot go out there in this condition. It's not gonna end well. And now, I mean, the other day, after it happened, there was a bunch of analysis stuff going out. And they were saying that, he might not be able to play anymore because he has some permanent damage that is not worth risking making worse.
Yeah, I mean, that's clear early development of CTE right there, and which is not a.
So what happened to Antonio Brown? He went damn near crazy with all the shit he does now.
Yeah.
I think, like as fans, we want that attitude, you know, of like the player wants to play.
Yeah.
But then again, you got to think about it like from the other perspective of being an athlete.
Health.
It's like, it's your health. You know, your health is your wealth.
Yeah.
And, you know, you see a lot of athletes after they, you know, stop playing.
Yeah.
They start, you know, making business moves, stuff like that, because, you know, they got their head right. Yeah. Especially in football, you know, where you're getting hit in the head every week.
Yeah. Weekly basis, daily basis with practice and everything. Whether it's, you know, obviously practice might not be as physical, but you're still out there taking hits here and there.
Right.
I think at a certain point, it's like even with any other sport, whether it's like, you know, basketball, football, any sport where your body's taking a toll, or body's getting beat on and it takes a toll on you, you're going to have to realize at a certain point, if you're getting injured repeatedly, especially with like concussions, it's not worth it. Like you want to be like, if you have a kid, you want to be able to, you know, see that kid grow up. You don't want to have to be like, you know, like let's say for like CTE, you drive yourself crazy. You can't even fathom being around a kid because you don't know what's going to happen to you or whatever. Or like, you know, previous years, like everybody was talking about with Derrick Rose with his knees and shit like that. And he's not gonna be able, like people were like, oh, he's not gonna be able to walk if he keeps playing. He's not gonna be able to hang out with his kids. It's like shit like that is stuff you got to take into consideration at a certain point, because if you don't, you know, you might not be able to like we said, you might not be able to walk. You might not be able to understand what your kid's saying because of the shit you put on your body when you're younger.
Yeah, and it's crazy too because at that time, Derrick Rose was getting actually a lot of slander because I know the doctors had cleared him, and then he said he still wasn't ready and he didn't want to play.
Yeah,
and he was getting a lot of slander because he said that he wanted to be able to walk at his son's graduation. But it's like when you really look, you know, into
like that's more important.
It's like like
I got money already. I don't need to play.
Yeah, you know, you're set for life. Your family's good, but now it's like you don't want to have all that money and not be able to like
do anything,
function.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And I think this reflects sort of more on, you know, even on our middle class or trades workers and stuff. And obviously, me being a tradesman, I've mentioned it a few times on here. You know, when I was looking for a job and stuff, you know, that was a big factor in it. That was probably half the deciding factor for me becoming like an electrician like I am now.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I was taking whatever was an opportunity to me at the time, but given the choice, I mean, you really have to think about the physical toll that your job takes on your body.
Yeah, of course,
and
of course.
It's not just you know, it's real nice. You know, I applied for like, you know, a few different jobs, and one of them was higher paying than the other. I was like, yeah, that $29 an hour or whatever it is sounds really awesome right now.
Yeah, but it's going to kill me in the long run.
The 16-hour shifts and the mandatory overtime and all that shit.
Yeah, is it really worth it?
10 years down the road, you know, right now it sounds awesome. I'm a 20-year-old. I got all the time in the world, like just completely like all the time. You know,
right now you're young, you got time, you could do.
I could work 16-hour shifts. I don't have nothing else to worry about.
Yeah, right now it's just you. So,
but I'm trying to look forward and where I'm going. You know, I'm not looking at like, part of it is where I'm at now.
Of course.
The now is always, you know, what you're thinking about immediately, but you also look forward, like really consider what you're doing is going to take on your body.
Yeah,
like
your life down the line.
What kind of toll it's going to take. It's just, you know, it's a big factor in what job you choose.
I think, it's a thing that, especially like for, like we said, with athletes, that's their livelihood. Like anybody else, like if you go to a job, that's all you know, like, I mean, it's a little different for an athlete because like it's literally the only thing they've been doing for however old they are. Like some people, you know, you usually start playing a sport around 4 or 5, maybe at the latest. And that's all they've been doing their entire life. So when that gets taken away, I understand, like, you know, you want to be out there as much as you can because you understand you're not there for a extended amount of time. You have a certain amount of time that you're there. And once that's done, you kind of like, you got to cut the cord on it. But at the same time, it's like, if it's causing me more damage than good, it's not worth it at a certain point. And I think that's something that a lot of athletes, and not even just athletes, but people day to day, whether it's your job or whatever it may be that you enjoy doing, it's something you gotta think about. Always take it into consideration. But nonetheless, you know, I think if all goes well, Tua can kind of still play, but I would say definitely weigh the options because it's getting into a area where you don't want to be stuck in, where you can. You know.
I mean, personally, I think this is probably dramatic, but I think he should probably sit out the rest of the year.
That's what a lot of people are saying, and I don't.
No, I think that's reasonable. I think that's completely reasonable.
He was literally almost like quite literally seized up on the field. Like at that point, just take the time you need to recover. Like you mentioned with Derrick Rose, he's like, I know I could play right now, but I don't feel like I should play. There is a line you got to draw.
Yeah, I mean, there's always that competitive attitude where it's like, you know, you want to be out there with the guys. You go all training camp, then the season comes and you're practicing every day, and you're seeing your guys bust their ass out there, and it's like, man, I want to be out there too.
Yeah.
But then again, that's where like you kind of just said it, where it's like that selfish mentality got to come in and be like, you know what, like as much as I want to play, you got to think, I got to think longevity, kind of how he was saying as well. So I think he should sit the year and just come back next year, make sure everything's good, make sure, because that's a head injury. Yeah, you don't play about that. So
I staying on sports, I was looking at the other day, and I just pulled it up right here, but they were talking about athletes, how over the past few years, athletes, obviously we talked about, we're talking about what's going on with athletes right now, so it shows how much their impact on everybody around the world or around whatever, community of people that support their sport really have on people. It was Kareem talking about how Kyrie, with his past few years, has been kind of more or less tarnishing the name of what athletes are trying to become versus like helping it, which, I understand, like we said, athletes are still people also. They got to consider what they want to do.
Real quick, I don't watch basketball. I need a little bit of context on this.
So this is just a general standpoint. Mm-hmm. In normal society, day-to-day life, that people who aren't professional athletes or whatever it may be, athletes still, like, you look up to some athletes, they might have an impact on your community or whatever it may be. They're trying to be more than just an athlete, more than just somebody who's out on the field or out on the ice or whatever. What happened recently with the past few years with Kyrie is, one, obviously, you would know, with jumping from team to team, saying, oh, I'm going to be here long term, and then bouncing, or, his off-court antics saying, like, the earth is flat and doing all this other crazy shit, right? Bunch of random shit that he's been doing.
Like an Antonio Brown
type
situation.
Basically, and I said this the other day to somebody. I was like, he's basically become the Antonio Brown of the NBA. And it's, at first, you're like, well, how does that make sense? But then you look at it, he's like, when Antonio Brown started doing all the crazy shit, obviously it was related to something that isn't just under, in his control. It's CTE, whatever is going on, whether it is that or not, it's going on, and he's crazy. He's acting like out of his own self, not out of character and not himself. But with Kyrie, the past few years, it almost seems like the same thing, just from a basketball standpoint, where it's like he's on a championship winning team, and he's like, okay, I don't want to be here anymore. I want to be the guy. I don't like this chemistry here. Okay, that's fine, understandable. He goes to a new team. This team looks like a team I could be with for a long time. Stays there for a year, gives up midway through one of the games in the playoffs, and just dips out the next season. Goes to another team. Now he's on the Nets. He's still there. But this team, now with the whole COVID thing and everybody, with the vaccines and all that, and it's understandable. Some people didn't want the vaccine. Some people did. But what came down to it is became like a super public thing. Like, oh, he doesn't want to get it. And
it's like the Aaron Rodgers thing.
Yeah, pretty much. And I guess what Kareem is saying is, like, with all the antics, he's, making it seem like, athletes are just divas again, versus just like, oh, they give back to the community and all, they do all this other stuff too. He's saying that he's putting a negative light on it, as in, like, he's doing all the stuff that people would see, like, oh, that guy's just a dumb athlete, type of thing. And from that standpoint, like, just if you were outside looking in, just hearing all the stuff that he's done, you would assume the same thing, which is why he's saying, all right, I get, you're a person at the end of the day. You want to, like, sage arenas or whatever you want to do. Your religious beliefs is all on you. That's you. He's like, but at the same time, we gotta remember, like, there's kids who are watching you do everything you do. Like, you're on camera at all times, especially for athletes. Everything you do.
You were on quite literally the biggest stage in the world for your field. For what you're doing, you were on the largest stage.
Yeah. And so, like, he's just saying he's become a like, sort of, it says it right here. His quote was, he's kind of a comical buffoon. It's like, bro, I don't know. Like, bro, it's crazy because, if you've, I'm sure some people who have watched the podcast have seen that, who watch basketball here, and I know you watch basketball and stuff like that. Kyrie can give anybody 50 points a night if he really wants to. But the thing is like, there's games where he's like, you could tell he just doesn't care. He doesn't, like, it was Stephen A. Smith who said it. He's like, yeah, he could give anybody 40, 50 a night if he really wanted to, but he doesn't care. He's just there. And it's like,
I think, honestly, bro, as a basketball fan, you want to see Kyrie out there. He's one of the top, I would say he's a top maybe 5 point guard. I personally don't. Yeah. I think Damian Lillard's better. But with Kyrie, I think you want to see him out there, but then again, it's like, when you take away basketball and you just talk about him as a person, one thing you can't say that Kyrie's never done, or that Kyrie's always done, is he's always stood 10 toes on whatever he believed in.
Oh, 100%.
So it's like, when you look at this from a fan standpoint, it's like, you have a job, you're getting paid millions to do this, like, go out there and do your job.
Yeah.
But then again, when you take away basketball and you just think of someone, as just a regular person, a regular individual, it's like you kind of gain almost respect for it, because even though the whole world's kind of like shitting on him, it's like, all right, bro, but even though they're shitting on you, you're setting an example to some of your fans where it's like, regardless of who says what, who does anything, you stay 10 toes on what you believe in.
And I think that's where Kareem is missing out on.
Yeah, I mean, but like as a competitor though, man, it's like, it's tough because, you know,
100%.
especially when you're playing at the highest level of basketball that you can play, and then you win a championship and you know that you were a big part of that. It's kind of like, all right, what's my next challenge? Because once you win the ship, it's like, okay, I worked all my life to do this.
I've done it. What do I do now?
You know, like what's next? So now it's like these guys, from the way that I perceive it, it's like these guys are always looking for a next challenge.
Yeah. 100%.
So Kyrie leaving and saying, I want to do this by myself, I feel like that was a challenge put among himself.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, but
he wasn't.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 5 other guys in the court. How many?
Yeah.
4?
Well, 4 besides the point guard. Yeah, 4 other guys.
Yeah, there's 4 other guys in the court. Dude, it's a team sport.
Yeah, 100%.
There's dominating players.
Oh, 100%. Any sport.
And I'm a hockey fan, so I have to throw this in here because I can't jump in on this basketball shit because I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
But Connor McDavid,
dog.
even if you don't
Absolute
watch hockey, you may have heard of him.
Yeah.
Best raw talent we've ever seen in hockey ever.
Yeah.
He's been in the league for 5-6 years. And the Oilers are just finally cracking the surface of the playoffs and like making somewhat deep runs. It's a team sport. I mean, between hockey, basketball, football, whatever it is, all the major sports are team sports.
Yeah.
Soccer. Yeah. Sorry, soccer, football. I have to differentiate because
we've had people
because we're in the United States. Football, we're talking about football, American football. Yeah. So football and soccer, that's what we're calling it here. If you guys call it something else, that's fine. But for the sake of knowing what we're talking about, football is American football, soccer is football.
In this scenario, yes. There's no hate against either one.
Yeah.
That's simple.
No shade, but that's what we're going to call it here. But anyways, all of them, you have a whole other plethora of people on the field, on the ice, on the court.
Whatever it is.
You're not going to do it by yourself against other people who are also the best in the world.
Yeah. There are guys who can do a lot more than some guys.
Exactly.
But nonetheless, you still need teammates. You're not playing 1-on-5. It doesn't happen. I mean, unless I'm not even going to say
I'm not going to lie. Braun was playing 1-on-5 in 2018. Braun was playing 1-on-5.
I knew. Thank God I knew.
I'm not going to lie.
In 2018, that is the only excuse I'll ever make of who was playing 1-on-5 because that Cavs team was janitors. Straight janitors. That was horrible.
Garbage. But like kind of how he said, though, how it's like a team thing. You know, it's like, yes, there's going to be those 1 or 2 dominant guys. Yeah. But those dominant guys feed off of the role players. You know?
And so they also feed those guys too, so they make everybody better around
Exactly. Them. So it's like once you get to a profession, I was watching a podcast the other day actually with Draymond, and he was saying once you get
shop
to
or whatever.
Was it LeBron's podcast? No, I think it was his own.
Oh, okay.
And it's like once you get to a certain level, it's like, okay, what are you good at? And like find what you're good at and just stick to doing that very well. You know, so it's in hockey, if you're good at scoring, perfect scoring. You know, let the other guys, if this guy's good at setting stuff up, let him perfect that. You know, and it's as a team, that's how, you know, kind of things work. And I think that kind of works for everything. You know, it's like for this podcast, you know, you're good at one thing, he might be good at the other. And it's like you bring it together and it works. It's a success, you know.
Speaking of Draymond, I'm getting into this because we're already on topic. What was it, yesterday or today? Or I don't know.
It was 2 days ago. The video came out yesterday.
Yeah, 2 days ago. Some shit happened in the Warriors practice with Draymond Green and Jordan Poole. Where
did you see it?
No.
Look it up real quick.
You gotta see that video.
Essentially, what happened was,
what am I looking up?
Just type in Draymond Green. It'll be the first thing that comes up.
Jordan Poole.
Yeah. So what happened was they're in practice, right? And you know. You would know, obviously, even with that rec or whatever it may be. When you play a sport, even with, you would know in your men's league, when people start chatting shit, it gets aggravating sometimes. But
experience that last.
But nonetheless, no matter what happened is there. I don't know what was going on in that scenario because it doesn't look like they're saying anything at like the first few seconds of it. But
I see the guy on the sidelines just kind of.
But he walks up to him. And obviously he's in his face, so he pushes him off him, which is normal. Like you're not just gonna let somebody stand there and jaw you off in your face. So he pushes him back, and he's obviously he pushes a bit, but he full on takes a sucker punch at him.
Yeah. That was a complete sucker punch. There was no like instigation of a fight there. I don't know what was said, but no matter what was said, just body language wise, the one guy standing here with his arms like this.
Yeah, it doesn't look like
the
he's
dude in the gray.
Going on.
I don't. It's
Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole's the one who got punched.
Okay, Draymond Green's walking up to him.
Yeah,
you're engaging.
Yeah.
If Jordan Poole's the one who punched, it would still be bad, but it's different because some guy's coming up to you.
Yeah.
He engaged. There was no. This guy's hands were on his hips the whole time.
He's standing there on the sideline looking around.
He walks up to him. He gives him a shove, and he swings at him.
Yeah. Like, bro, like
complete sucker punch.
And the shove is, I would say the shove is more justified because he's walking into his face.
He went into his face.
He's walking into my face. I'm like,
he's damn near about to kiss the dude.
Get out, like get away from me. Like if you're that close to me, and you're especially Draymond Green. We all know Draymond Green is like he's a shit talker. He's like a Kevin Garnett or any type of guy like that. You're gonna move him away. You don't want nobody, even in a general scenario. If somebody's talking shit to you all in your face, you're gonna push them back. But no way does that mean you should steal of them. Like you should not just go tee off on them like that.
Especially this is someone
your teammate
you see every day.
Yeah,
that's
like your brother. That's your teammate.
So,
you see them every day. You're going to battle against other teams with that dude every day.
And I think the timing of it, is the worst because the season's about to start and you're on the quest to try to win.
You are the defending champions, right?
So it's like that's tough. And then just the fact that like Jordan Poole had his hands on his waist, right? So he's sitting there like this. He pushes him. Okay, in practice, or kind of how you said, in the rec or whatever, things are gonna happen.
Yeah,
you both want to win.
Yeah, of course.
So
no matter what it is,
in practice that stuff happens. But for Jordan Poole, it's like I see both sides of it because it's like one thing if a dude's walking up on you like that, all right, I got to be prepared for anything.
Like you should, I might have to be ready right here.
I got to be prepared for anything. But then again, you're in an NBA practice.
And it's your teammates.
You're with your
You're not
team.
expecting your homie. That's like your brothers. Like that, you're not expecting them to tee off on you because I saw somebody say he punched him like he did not know him. Like he swung at him like that was a stranger.
Keep in mind, Jordan Poole is fucking a 23-year-old.
Jordan Poole is also like what 3, 4 inches more than Draymond?
He's pretty much a kid. 23-year-old.
He's like my age.
Yeah,
and Draymond's a straight up fucking 32-year-old man.
He's a grown man, and he's a big dude.
He punches this completely vulnerable. By the way, you could see clearly from no matter what was said, just on body language and the situation alone, Poole was not.
He was not ready to fight.
He was just like, get out of my face, like as anyone would. When someone's in that close to your face,
like, bro, I don't want
their
to smell your
chest
breath.
is touching your chest. Like, get the away from me.
I don't want to smell your breath, bro. Back up.
He didn't push and go after. He pushed and backed up a little bit.
Yeah.
And this guy fucking took and he put
everything into that fucking.
It almost looked natural. Like
it looked like it's happened before. Yeah,
like Draymond, they know Draymond's gonna get mad. They know he's gonna get in people's faces.
Nobody, look, if you watch it again, nobody in there moves over there to say, "Yo, like, whoa, slow down." Nobody stops the game. Like even at our men's league game, the first week we had a fight. Everybody was in the middle of the court.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It don't matter. It was a rec league. This isn't professional.
I think he needs to. There needs to be some sort of whether it's financial or set him out for the games.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think taking a few practices away from the team.
Yeah, for fighting your teammate, I think that's fair.
For punching your fucking teammate in the face.
Do you guys think this is something they can recover from though?
I would say it's going to take a little bit of time because
I think if that video never leaked, then that's something that we could squash it because that's in house. No one knows what happened.
That's something that takes a long time to recover.
But
from the way he punched him, there's something there. He does not like the dude.
Yeah,
and the thing is,
for whatever reason,
it was motivated for sure. There was more behind it than just.
You got to be mad at him for some reason.
There was a situation like this in the NHL where there was a teammate who got in a fight in practice, which. Comparatively to NBA,
hockey is a little more.
Hockey's a fighting sport.
Yeah,
there's plenty of times where two rookies in practice go at it and fight, and it's not a big deal. No one gets canceled. There's no, it's hockey. It's a fighting sport. It's gonna happen. They're fighting for their jobs, quite literally.
Yeah.
But there was one guy, kind of reminds me of this situation. He got in a fight with one of the players, and this guy was notorious for having attitude issues in juniors and stuff. His name's Tony DeAngelo.
Yeah.
He was on the New York Rangers. He got in a fight with the goalie. That was the second one. Okay. And that's when it was like, okay, dude, why are you fighting the goalie in practice? Should never fight a goalie, let alone in practice. And unlike this, he was dropped from the team.
Damn.
They said, go fucking find a new job. They got, and keep in mind, this was an all-star defenseman. This was like a damn near point per game defenseman in his rookie season.
I think different sports handle their stuff a lot differently. I would say soccer, football. Again, we're going through this. I've seen a couple times where recently some news that was going on with the last season or the last off season, I should say. PSG had a lot of in-house issues that they had going on with players. Obviously, they have a fucking all-star team with their 3 main players being Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi. Which, however, they have that budget, I don't understand how that's still a thing. But yeah, whatever. Nonetheless. They, because obviously Mbappe is the youngest out of all 3 of those guys, and they're trying to give him the keys to the team, basically. And, he was having some issues with other players, being, Neymar specifically. And the same thing, he's like, they kept it in-house. I mean, it got out to the public eventually, but for the most part, it was in-house, and they kind of handled it like, hey, I understand, we're all stars here, but like, hey, we gotta realize we're trying to win the same thing. What I was saying is, in-house fights happen with all sports, and they handle them all differently. Hockey, what you were talking about, it could be a little more severe because obviously those guys are actually fighting.
I think hockey's dope though.
Those are some badass dudes. You gotta be.
They fight in the game, and it's like in a lot of other, pretty much every other sport, to be honest, besides UFC, which is fighting.
It's fighting.
Boxing.
Yeah. That's not allowed.
NHL fighting, they fight. It's a 5-minute penalty. I mean, there's no fine.
It's part of the game.
There's no suspension. It's 5 minutes, and you're gonna play that game again.
I think that's the dopest part, though, is because in any
you can kick somebody's ass and get right back in.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit 5 minutes.
Well, I mean, there's unwritten rules in NHL. They call it the code. Yeah. There's actually a whole fucking documentary called The Code about this, and it's like, okay, yeah, you have a fight, you have like a chippy game, you're going after each other after, but generally the rule is there's rules to a fight. Like you fight clean.
Yeah.
That's why you always see them walk up, grab each other's jerseys. The fights are a lot the same every time because there's ways to fight. You're not trying to hurt the guy necessarily. It sounds weird, but you're not trying to like severely hurt him. You're just trying to like show it's a tough guy here. Contest.
Yeah. Like I got who's got the bigger balls here? Who's winning this fight?
And generally,
game, right? Adrenaline's high,
right.
Like,
and generally with the fight, when the fight's over, that's the end.
Yeah, a lot of times you probably seen it. They mic them up and they're like, "Good fight." At the end, you'll hear them.
There's shake hands a lot.
There's sometimes where they'll be at a face off. They'll be like, "You want to fight?" And they'll be like, "Yeah."
They'll sit in the 5 minutes to sit in the penalty boxes. 2 pieces of glass across from each other, yell at each other for a little bit, and they play the rest of the game. That's why there's not really like that many. There's not really many beefs in the NHL because
they can settle it on the ice.
Everything is settled that game.
Yeah,
it's settled there. They sometimes rivalries. They have the next game and stuff. But in terms of genuine like beef and hatred for each other, it's usually settled pretty quick on the ice, and that's what's cool about them allowing fighting. And they were talking about taking that away and stuff. I think taking away fighting is a horrible idea. And they're worried about, people hitting their heads when they're fighting and stuff. Okay, well, that's reasonable. A guy gets knocked out, hits his head on ice, not a good situation.
No,
but you take that away, now we have
people trying to board each other and shit.
And you have a bad call by a ref, and now the team can't do anything about it. I think it's an integral part of the sport. It's going down now because we're getting more skilled than tough guy.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it has its place, and
I think if they do get rid of it, it'll lead to, like you said, lead to a lot of problems, especially like intentionally boarding people or cross-checking people.
Dude, I'm not gonna
lie. But
that's what I'm saying. Keep it for the novelty of it, and not only mostly for the keeping each other in check, but the reality of it is there's less need to keep each other in check because people are knowing their place.
Yeah, know the place.
And the amount of skill, like, quite frankly, it's with how much speed there is, it's hard to dirty hit a guy who's that fast.
You can't catch him.
When the tough guy comes out here and tries to go after someone, he's not even fast enough to get to them. They're elusive enough to they can't touch him.
He beat you to the net. He's gone. Yeah, I agree. I mean, speaking of the whole fighting thing, again with the internet shit, there's surprisingly we're back in 2016 or some shit because all the diss tracks are coming back out. I don't know why the this is a thing again, but I mean, I have the clip here from what started all this. You know who AMP is? All the Kai Cenat and all those dudes.
I know who Kai is. I'm not really too big.
So it's from them. It's their little cipher that they did with the the whole like rap freestyle shit, right? And they decided that I don't know how long it's been since they had beef with this dude or whatever, but they decided to, I guess, rekindle some beef with our other YouTuber / rapper or whatever the fuck they want to call themselves now. Pretty Boy Fredo. You know who that is?
I've heard of him, yeah.
Okay, so they mentioned him in a line, and I'm gonna see if I can find it here. But basically they said, it makes it so funny to me because all these, whenever YouTubers do like rap songs, they all try to sound super gangster. And it's like, bro, y'all, like, some of y'all might be from the hood, okay, but I doubt y'all was gangbanging, because if you gangbang like that, you're not about to be making no YouTube videos like that. But they essentially said they were smoking on Fredo. So that was the line that they used and started the whole 2016 diss track BS all over again. And then I guess
he said he's gonna kill the dude.
Yeah. And then I'm like, bro, like, I understand. Okay, if y'all want to make a song, cool. You're not killing nobody. This is YouTube.
And if you do, you just snitched.
You just snitched, right? You're
probably gonna need to censor that, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. It's whatever. Yeah. Whether we censor it or not, it's cool. And nonetheless, so that came out, and then, you know, a whole thing of like people making, like, I don't know, Fredo made like 7 or not 7, but like 3 or 4 videos talking about. He invited some, and I'm not gonna say it, he invited a small person because Kai is kind of short, but he invited a legit small person with dreads to pretend to be Kai and like did like interviews with him. Oh my God. I was like, bro, what is going on? So that happened, right? And then he was like making these skits with this small person, this dude with dreads. I don't remember his name though, but he had him like getting sturdy in these videos and all this other shit. Yeah, I was like, bro, this is going too far. I see now, though, yeah. So like that's why he was like. It fit because, like, I understand what he was going for because Kai is supposed to be, like, I guess, short or whatever, and he brought this small dude in to be doing against 30 and shit. And then he said he's got to get his get back, so he made a diss track recently. You know, Kai's from the Bronx, so he's kind of from the hood, but not like, he's not a gangbang or anything. But he was like, yo, this, like, some people like that watch our videos be taking this shit serious, like they take this shit serious. Like, if they f with me and they're from the hood, they might really take it serious and try to do something to you. And he's like the same way for me. Is like if like let's say because Fredo's from Florida or whatever, he's like if I go down to Florida and somebody takes it like the wrong way and they think you're being serious or whatever, you know that's he's talking about just for YouTube as a whole across the board. Like we can't be saying shit like that. Obviously he's like from our standpoint it's jokes, but people around us might not see that as jokes. They might take it serious and try to do something to one of us.
Some people don't play like
that. Fredo's got a kid. He's like, bro, you don't want to have to your kid find out that you died or some shit because of something you did on the internet. Like
literally, I'm looking at it right now. Kai's whole first verse is about how he's gonna shoot the guy.
Yeah.
And Kai, please. As someone who doesn't even like, I don't watch Kai Cenat. That's not a diss to him. It's just not my kind of content.
Yeah, no.
If by some God's will that you see this, why are you talking like you're gonna shoot a guy? You know, like
especially he's on a rise now, right?
Right.
Yeah,
he's
you've
the
been on this
highest
come up.
subscribed
You're doing,
streamer on Twitch.
You're doing so well.
Don't ruin it with this.
Why?
I mean, obviously, it's. I'll be honest. The song was kind of a jump. It was kind of lit, but you could have gone without talking about killing somebody. I understand. You know, it's like the hot thing.
The
like
one line rappers. Is one thing. Your whole first verse is about.
Yeah, I understand.
You know. It's smoking like, your block up, 2 shots at your chest up, bro. Like, come on, man. Like,
damn. Even though he did respond with a little bit similar, he was a little bit more responsible than he would have been in the past, where he would have blown it out of proportion and done all this extra shit on the internet to like try to tarnish somebody's name. But his was more or less he made another version like of I guess the whole like yeet type of thing and like that kind of plug style rap right now that's popping off. And this is how his went. This was his thing. Huh?
You listen to yeet?
Yeah. So he made this shit. This hold on, I'm gonna skip ahead. This I know this one. Yeah, he got that's his. Roll this K up in the Phantom and pass it to Brody. Yeah, we smoke the agent runs, yeah, I'll pass it to Brody. Like, that's what I'm saying. They're talking about like smoking agent runs. The agent's another content creator that's an AMP or whatever. I'm like, bro, we're not smoking on nobody. We're not smoking anybody to begin with.
It's self-snitching.
That's what I'm saying. Like, first of all, I understand the whole want to make a diss track when somebody makes one to you. Cool, make one back. But we not smoking nobody.
It doesn't need to be elevated that much. It's YouTube beef, and you're talking about ending a person's life over this. Like, come on, man.
Don't get it wrong. It's entertaining, but it's also very, like we said, some people might take it the wrong way and see it as, oh, y'all are talking about killing each other? Like, all right, like, if somebody fucks with them heavy like that, and it's like their homie back home, they might take it the wrong way and really go do some shit for you. So let's squash that. Let's get out of that phase of stuff. Like, y'all are all content creators, especially in the black community. Let's focus on that. Make things better. Y'all, Kai's the biggest fucking subscribed Twitch streamer right now, which is huge. Fredo is one of the bigger YouTubers out there. So let's focus on that. Do y'all things. Don't try to fight each other. I mean, if y'all want to box, do that. YouTube boxing is thing.
Like for Kai, he's a
right?
That's huge.
It's like the biggest.
If y'all want to do a
freaking
boxing
creator,
match,
the biggest coming up creator in the content community right now, and you know, you could say whatever, he's doing this for the views. Like the original diss tracks, a lot of it was, you know, just for the views. Like,
yeah, 100%.
they were probably over their beef, whatever they had before
well,
the diss track.
It was 2 years ago that it happened.
I'm talking about like KSI and them. Remember the original diss tracks?
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
and stuff. They were probably over their beef before the diss tracks even came up. They're like, oh, let's make a little content out of it. It was fun. It was fun for everyone.
It hit.
It wasn't that serious.
No, they weren't talking about killing each other. They were talking shit about each other.
For you now, kind of like whether you're doing this for the views or whatever it is, like he needs to realize
there's people
he
who
has
take
a big stage right now.
And I understand it is
stuff
content.
He's putting out there, even the smallest thing he says.
Some kids can take it the wrong way.
There's gonna be people who take it and run with it. There's gonna be media that takes it and runs with it. He needs to realize the stage he's on, and I know he's coming up, and like, you know, this is all new for him.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And it's just, you know, you have to realize the kind of
influence you got.
Influence.
You're
that
huge.
Your voice
100,000
has.
subscribers, not just followers, subs.
Yeah.
On Twitch. That's huge.
That's huge.
That's a lot of people. That's each person is $5. That's 100,000 people did that.
At least
that's a lot of people, bro.
And that's monthly, right?
That's monthly. And that's monthly. And some people, mind you, some people there's higher levels of subscriptions. So some people could be paying $10, $15 a month. And that's 100,000 people doing that shit. That's a lot of people. Mind you, majority of them are probably I'd say from like 12 to 20 something at the most right now. You gotta think about, yeah, sure, I get he's like what, 20, 21. You gotta realize there's an end of your audience that's a lot younger than that.
Kai is 20.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's 20. He's young. He looks he looks a lot older than he is.
I thought he was older.
Yeah, he looks a lot older. But I mean, the same thing staying on YouTube beef and like social media beef, the whole Nadia Call of Duty thing. Did you see the video that Censor put out?
Dude, Nadia's funny as fuck, bro.
Have you watched it?
She is playing everyone, bro.
Yeah,
it's
100%.
so funny.
100%. 100%. 100%.
People are so mad at her over Warzone. It's hilarious, bro.
She's really
She posted a video. It was like, I turned off the cheats for a day, and this is what happened. I'm like, dude.
She's really
and all the
pissing
comments are like,
off.
VPN. I'm like, you guys.
VPN or not, my let's put it like this. VPN or not, at the end of the day, she's still playing the game. Who cares? You play the exact same game. If you suck, you suck.
She'd probably smoke all the people who are talking in her comments anyways.
The thing,
what, Call of Duty?
Yeah.
That game's too much for me, man. I'm suck at that game.
The movement and shit, everyone's like jittering. I'm like, oh my God.
The thing that pissed everyone off was that when she plays in her own setup, which is where you're most comfortable. People have to realize you are most comfortable in your own setup. You are there every day, especially as a professional streamer. She went to the Modern Warfare 2 event that they had, the release event for the beta, and absolutely shit the bed, right? So people are like, oh, look, she doesn't have her cheats. She's trash. She's trash. And I was like, bro, whether she had a bad day or not, everyone else was playing good, which is kind of suspect. That's where people were like, okay, that's a little suspect. Nonetheless, if you sit in the same spot every day, you're going to be comfortable. You go, like, let's say for a sports standpoint, you go to the same rink, you go to the same basketball court, same field, whatever it may be. You know that shit like the back of your hand. You know where the best place to shoot is. You know where the best place to make a move is, because that's where you go every day. So if you sit at your setup every day, and this is where you go every day, you're going to know how everything works there. Whether, people think it or not, whether people think you're cheating or not. It's just that simple. So when she went to this shit and then had like a bit of a bad day, it's like people are like, oh, you suck. Oh, it's so clear she's trash. Like she's cheating. Like, I mean, I don't know. I can't say unless I'm in the room with the person watching how they set their shit up. It's so funny to me how mad some people got. And then there was ex-Phase member Censor who was like, he's like, I'm gonna make a whole video exposing her. This and that. I'm like, is it really that? Is it really that?
This is what your life has come to.
Yeah, right.
This is what your content has come to.
This bored.
Is she like she's one of the top ones right now?
I don't know if she's like one of the top shooters, but she's pretty popular. She's got enough following to cause this big of an issue, obviously. So, but yeah, for some ex Call of Duty player, like, bro, it's not that deep. You play the same game as her. Who cares?
Some people in Call of Duty be taking that shit
serious, bro. There are some people who take that shit very serious. Like, who cares? You're not playing against them. You probably ran into them one time out of all the games you played. So what does it really affect you?
Yeah, I mean, unless like you're in the lobby and she like does some outrageous shit and then she kills you, it's like, all right, like you're cheating.
Right. That's what I'm saying. The odds of you actually playing her on a consistent basis are like 1%. No chance. You might see her one game out of a year. It's not that. That's what I'm saying. It's really not that serious whether she's cheating or not. You're not gonna see her every day. It's not like that. You're not playing in the league or something like that where you play them every week. No, you just might see them one time. Staying with the whole the Twitch stuff, or not. This is actually YouTube now. Speed the other day. Another Speed clip of him being an absolute menace to society.
He's don't want to be screaming.
Yes,
stuff, right?
yes. And he's sitting there just screaming, like the same shit with the firework. Sitting there screaming at whatever's going on. And then he starts screaming for his mom. Just, Mom! Mom! He's just screaming.
That's all I see is just videos of him screaming, bro. Screaming.
It's got to be one of the funniest things. I'm going to have to pull it up. It's got to be one of the funniest things on the internet right now. But it's literally just him. He sits there, clearly reads off the message that this will be a virus multiple times, installs it, and then proceeds to get a virus and starts just screaming. You know, I know how he's thinking.
Well, how recent was this?
Literally within this week.
Yeah,
I know.
Ago. 2 days ago, he had a
I
stream
know in his
called
head
Unlucky.
I know as a kid, you think, okay, I'm invincible. Nothing's touching me.
Here it is.
It was hilarious.
It's a Trojan. It's a Trojan horse, bro. Yeah. And it tells him it's a Trojan horse.
It gives him, you know, it says, are you sure? It says, are you sure again? It gives another window after. Look, it's already bugging out.
No.
Oh, you can hear that on the ear.
No! No!
I'm gonna throw it on the screen while it's going. This is hilarious.
No! My PC! My PC!
It would have been funnier if his PC would have fallen on his head right there.
My PC!
Imagine how scary this would be at like 3 a.m.
Oh my god, that'd be
this.
terrifying. It's just a shit show of whatever being a kid is nowadays. Because that's another creator like with Speed. He's just at such a young age, such a huge platform. So what is he? He's 17. He's going to, like we talked about last week, going to the UK to play in soccer matches.
Game, right?
Yeah. Like that's crazy. Like think about it at 17. Like we're at high school doing homework. We're not going to no UK on a football match.
National stage.
Yeah. That's crazy. Speaking of national stage, Lil Yachty going to Poland is taking over the world now.
Lil Yachty has taken the walk to Poland.
Hey, that song is low key. Like
it's hard.
Catchy.
It is hard, low key. It is catchy.
It's catchy.
It is catchy.
Normally, I don't listen to Yachty, bro. You know Jake.
Yeah,
that's his
Jake
man.
bumps Yachty. Yeah,
Jake,
Jake
that's
bumps
his man.
Yachty.
But that song right there, it's like it's catchy. And when you hear the whole thing, as long as the rest matches the first part, it's okay.
Yeah, it
but
catches
it's
on.
a catchy ass song. Like that's a great like. Kind of how like Jack Harlow had the first class snippet.
Yeah,
how that like brought so much.
It's just that one piece that has to catch, and everybody will follow. And that shit has been everywhere. I saw one where somebody put CJ from GTA San Andreas holding a bunch of cups walking down the street.
Purple, right?
Yeah,
I saw
bro.
that.
There are so many memes that come out of shit like that, and I know for a fact Yachty knows what he's doing. Like he 100% knows exactly what he's going for. I promise you. He's probably working on a project that's dropping soon, and that's why he wanted to do it. He's pulling the views in really quick. Everyone's gonna be like, "Whoa, what the f is this?" Yachty's dropping, and some people are like, "This is so shit. How could you release this?" Watch, he'll drop an album in a couple weeks. Damn, this shit's fire. Holy.
Watch just that snippet blow up on TikTok because you know how like there's little songs that blow up and it's like it just.
That's
goes
gonna be the one for sure.
That's 100%. Gonna be. It's low key hard.
The beat goes crazy.
It's low key hard.
Hey. I mean, that's the last thing I had on my thing. Do you have anything you want to talk about real quick or anything?
Shit. Help us run up this episode. We can take the walk to Poland.
Yeah.
With Lil Yachty.
Right?
Yeah. We'll take the walk to Poland real quick. But yeah, again, shout out to everybody who watched the last episode. We're at, as of right now, let me refresh the page here.
613.
613? Yeah, 613 as of right now. It's still going up. Obviously, it was at 609 when we started. So...
Really?
Yeah, when we started, it's at 609. It's at 613. So shout out to everybody watching.
It was at 475 this morning when I woke up.
400 this morning.
Yeah.
So shout out to everybody watching. Shout out to everybody who's subscribed. We got a couple of new ones here. Shout out to you guys. Everybody, if you're new, subscribe. Thank you to Julian for being here today.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, definitely. When he gets his podcast set up, we'll have that in the link description and stuff like that.
Bring you guys onto mine now.
There we go. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. So yeah, like, subscribe if you're new. Thank you for watching. If you're coming back, returning, thank you for coming back. Share the video with people. Get the views up like we had for the last one. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Peace.
Peace.